effort that was expended on this case. And all of a sudden, the SEC says, "Psych, we changed our mind, Judge. We wanted $1.3 billion in a fine."
And that is the recognition that actually Bitcoin may be ending its early immature phase, what some people call derisively as the casino phase.
Ripple has been working around our payments business and bridging that gap for almost a decade. And for me, Hidden Road represents, if we want the largest market makers, the largest hedge funds in the world to come into this ecosystem.
What can you do with the Bitcoin blockchain? You can hold and transfer Bitcoin. That's useful, but that's about all it does. Ethereum went completely in the opposite direction with smart contracts and open-ended programmability.
What does it mean to redefine the future of DeFi? I mean, to me, ultimately, the future of DeFi is about inclusion. Like, I think that it's so important that we're providing access to everybody in DeFi, and that we had to...
They try to shake me out, but I was born ready. Dropping down the price, then I be getting plenty. They want all your bags, and they want all them empty.
What's up, good glitches? If you got a baggie, welcome to the party. Welcome back to some more Moon O'Clock News. No breakfast, no coffee, just straight extra bullishness. Shout out to the latest sub. Appreciate you stopping by, tuning in. And don't forget to drop an elbow from the top ropes on that likey button. We got XRP currently right around $2.14. Quick announcement: I'm going to be relocating, traveling, coming up next week. Flights on Saturday, so I'm going to be putting up most of my equipment, cameras and stuff, so I'll be off camera in the next upcoming weeks. But we'll be back soon enough. We got Ripple X Dev to pop things off. One chain, global adoption. Now live on the XRP Ledger, RLUSD, Ripple, USDC Circle, XSGD, Stratus X. We got the Euro P, USDB. The XRP Ledger is ready for builders, institutions, and users who demand fast and compliant stablecoins. All roads lead to the bridge. We got one from Uphold. How does the XRP Ledger stand apart from Bitcoin and ETH? Here's the quick breakdown. Faster transactions, consistent reliability, low fees.
Store of value, a means of exchange. What can you do with the Bitcoin blockchain? You can hold and transfer Bitcoin. That's useful, but that's about all it does. Ethereum went completely in the opposite direction with smart contracts and open-ended programmability. It kind of made an app store approach for blockchain where you can build and launch your own applications from the ground up on the blockchain. The XRP Ledger carves a niche in the middle. It was designed in 2012 specifically for financial applications, focusing first on payments. The architecture prioritizes speed and reliability, low-cost transactions and predictable transaction costs, and seamless enterprise-grade integration. It wasn't trying to do everything, but it was focused on targeting real-world financial use cases.
We got the digital asset investor at the end of the crypto casino phase, the start of the institutional phase. Lock in.
And that is the recognition that actually Bitcoin may be ending its early immature phase, what some people call derisively as the casino phase, into a new phase of maturity and mainstream adoption. And the reason for that is, under Biden administration policies, traditional financial players have been kept out of the space. They've been warned to stay out of the space because of the debanking of traditional firms and because of the SEC's warning lawyers and others not to get involved in crypto. And we've seen that now through FOIA requests that have been forward that the FDIC actually warned banks to stay out. All of that is going to be taken away. Trump is going to allow traditional finance to move into the digital asset space. And I think we're going to now see the institutional development of this asset class. Major American financial houses, whether it be the New York Stock Exchange and its owner, ICE, NASDAQ, others, as well as major Wall Street firms, are going to move in a big way. And I think that's going to bring us a real maturization of digital assets. And I think the value proposition now is going to increase dramatically. And I think early investors are seeing that.
Chad Steingraber, everything is coming together July 14th, ISO 20022. Are you ready? The FedWire Fund Service migration is coming soon. Use these resources to help make sure your financial institutions is ready. ISO 20022, July 14th. Crypto Eddie, so far 4 stablecoins. Where are we headed? DeFi, yield bearing, cross-border treasury flows, payroll, and foreign exchange. Trading FX, XRP Ledger Dex is fully decentralized, so goodbye traditional FX by bank brokers, clearinghouses with your risk and high fees. So it begins. X marks the spot. XIF crypto live now. Ripple and SEC's joint request for an indicator ruling. What does it really mean for XRP in the lawsuit's future?
Settlement by the SEC and Ripple, where the SEC wants the judge to dissolve her injunction against Ripple and reduce the $125 million fine to $50 million. And if the Judge Torres, is acceptable to that, agreeable to that, she will, by order, reduce the fine and dissolve the injunction. Then this case goes away and there's a settlement. And they thought she would probably rubber stamp it, right? It's just one other big case off her desk, and the Judge Torres threw a curveball. So first of all, you cited the wrong rule. Second of all, you haven't demonstrated to the court that there are exceptional circumstances for me, Judge Torres, who followed the law and issued an injunction, for me to just say, I changed my mind, I'm going to dissolve the injunction. You got to do some effort. You got to show me some stuff, right? You got to meet this high standard. It's actually a high standard of exceptional circumstances. And so she said, come back to me. So I thought, well, shit, right? She's pissed off. For one, look at all the time that she spent on this case, 4.5 years, the amount of hours and resources and money and effort that was expended on this case. And all of a sudden the SEC says, psych, we changed our mind, Judge. We wanted $1.3 billion in a fine. And now we want you to take your $125 million fine and reduce it by 60%. She wants a little bit more. So I thought that the SEC and Ripple would put together a brief that'd be a little bit more than what they did. Now, I'm gonna, at the end of this, I'll tell you, I think she'll grant it like by 70%, but I'm gonna give you a little synopsis of why I think there should have been a better effort from this non-career securities lawyer's attorney who has way less experience than all of these experts, okay? But so first, let's understand what's happening. Ripple has an appeal and the SEC has an appeal. SEC's dropped their appeal. Ripple says they'll drop their appeal to the Second Circuit if you dissolve the injunction and we get back $75 million. I already told you Torres denied it. Now, settlement, exceptional circumstances. Know this. Under the case law, a settlement agreement itself is not enough to meet exceptional circumstances. And I'm going through the brief right now. The judge must basically judge the private interest served by settlement with the public interest of consistency of law, deterrence, what her fine means, what her injunction means. And the Second Circuit many times says exceptional circumstances exist where modifying the final judgment is necessary for the facilitation of settlement that would end the appeals. So understand this. There's enough case law cited in the SEC Ripple brief that allows the judge to give her something to hang her hat on, right? The Second Circuit says, yes, if dissolving the injunction or modifying the final order by the district court, if that's going to facilitate a settlement and drop everything so we can move on to other cases that are pending and save all that money and resources, then go ahead. You can do that. So there is enough there.
The Hidden Road is XRP, the XRP ledger.
Now, one of the things in the Hidden Road acquisition particularly, I think Ripple tries to be a little bit, we're kind of at the infrastructure layer. We try to think about where the world is going and make bets that are going to play out over years. I've always talked about, and this community particularly has been extremely patient as we have fought some frustrating fights. But the Hidden Road acquisition is really about continuing to build bridges between traditional finance and decentralized finance. And I think if you believe that it's just going to be, okay, the DeFi world is just going to grow and replace it, I don't believe that. We have to bridge that gap. And Ripple has been working around our payments business and bridging that gap for almost a decade. And for me, Hidden Road represents, if we want the largest market makers, the largest hedge funds in the world to come into this ecosystem, we need the infrastructure to enable that. Hidden Road is one of the fastest growing non-bank prime brokers. Most of the players in the prime broker space are the traditional commercial banks. And for those guys have been hostile towards crypto because of the regulatory dynamic. That's changing a little bit, but Hidden Road, I think, is a subtle, almost flex to their hundreds of clients, names you've heard of, the largest financial players in the world that are using Hidden Road. They cleared $3 trillion last year. They're growing very quickly, and frankly, with Ripple's balance sheet, we're only going to see that accelerate. That's great for the XRP ecosystem. That's great for RLUSD. And I will keep reminding people, Ripple is completely committed to what we can do to make XRP the most trusted, the most useful, and the most liquid digital asset on the planet. We will always be committed to that.
XAIF, Justin, John D, and tribalism is fine until the government tells us what we can and can't own. Supporting XRP isn't tribal. It's about fighting for freedom. Stellar, we asked builders at Consensus what it means to redefine DeFi. Here's what Kirsten Peters told us.
That's probably the craziest thing I've done. What does it mean to redefine the future of DeFi? I mean, to me, ultimately, the future of DeFi is about inclusion. Like, I think that it's so important that we're providing access to everybody in DeFi, and that we head in a direction that you don't have to be a tech-savvy person to be able to use DeFi tools.
That's a great answer. Honestly, that was great. Probably one of the best ones.
EGRAC crypto cycle top at $3 or $24. Yes, you read that right. Today I was having lunch with a good friend of mine from a university days. Let's call him Dr. Y. He holds a PhD in computer engineering and teaches blockchain courses at American University. He's well versed in tech, but not in chart analysis. Let me share our conversation. Dr. Y, the cycle top was 340. That's the peak of this cycle. Dr. Y says you don't see the bigger picture of the war, U.S. deficits, geopolitical shifts, so many things said. We got tokenization, economy and markets, global equities estimated at 100 trillion, derivatives 600 trillion, real estate 50 trillion, 280 trillion worldwide, cross-border payments 27 trillion, art and collectibles 1.7 trillion, debt instruments 250 trillion, IP licenses 5 trillion, supply chain assets 1 trillion, insurance policies 5 trillion, music rights 20 billion, gaming assets 200 billion, energy credits 50 billion, healthcare data 100 billion. He showed me a chart and said we're headed back to 42 cents. I responded, we're headed at least $10 with the max of 27 and $24 based on your 85% drop theory. XRP, all the money, all the value, and it only takes a small piece of the prize to take us to the promised lands. Mustache altcoins, the third all season is just around the corner, and the longer they take, the higher we keep climbing on that XRP. Rich list, where will those bags be when that regulation jar of molasses finally breaks open and XRP's true price is finally revealed? We'll catch you up here on the Mothership 589. I am the XRP Bagman, the Moon Commander, BYOB. Bring your own bags, be your own boss, be your own bank. Don't forget to drop an elbow from the top ropes on that likey button. We'll see you at the tippy top. Later, glitches.
Later, glitches.
Welcome to the party. This the moon party. Hey, this the moon party. Hey, welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. This the moon party. This the moon party. Welcome to the party, we don't play round here. Moon suit on or you get sprayed round here.